Here is the number that should be in every headline but never is. Over 2 billion people on this planet today do not have reliable access to clean drinking water. That figure comes directly from the World Health Organization's 2023 Global Water Report. 2 billion. And the global water purification industry's answer to that crisis is a market currently valued at over $45 billion, selling filters, tablets, membranes, and systems most of those 2 billion people could never afford in their lifetime. Now here is the part that never makes it into a press release. Engineers at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory ran controlled tests on a layered filtration system built entirely from biochar, sand, and gravel. Materials that cost less than $1 to source almost anywhere on Earth. The results came back. The system removed over 90% of bacteria. It stripped heavy metals. It eliminated turbidity to levels that matched mid-range commercial filters costing hundreds of dollars per unit. One of the researchers reportedly said he ran the test 3 times because he did not trust what he was looking at. And yet, you have never seen that study referenced on the packaging of a single water filter sold in any outdoor retailer anywhere. Ask yourself why. To understand how deep this goes, you have to go back. Not decades. Centuries. Long before municipal water treatment existed, long before Brita existed, long before any company filed a patent on membrane filtration technology, communities around the world were solving this problem with what was directly under their feet. In ancient Persia, historians documented the use of charred wood vessels to store and transport drinking water. Not for flavor. For purity. The char was doing something that those communities understood through observation long before any laboratory could explain the molecular mechanism. In 17th century England, common households filtered water through layers of gravel and sand packed into clay pots. The practice was so widespread it was considered basic domestic knowledge, the kind of thing passed between neighbors without ceremony or instruction. Indigenous communities across the Amazon basin used crushed and burned palm wood, a natural form of biochar, to purify water collected during the rainy season. Anthropologists documented this practice extensively in the early 1900s. It was noted. It was recorded. Then it was set aside. Because by the mid-20th century, the water treatment industry had decided that complexity sold better than simplicity. Proprietary ceramic filters. Iodine tablets with expiration dates. Pump systems with replacement cartridges. UV purification devices that require batteries you have to keep buying. Every single one of those products shares something in common. They require you to come back. They require dependency. They require a supply chain between you and clean water. Biochar, sand, and gravel require none of that. Let us talk about what is actually happening inside that $1 filter when it works. Biochar is what you get when you burn organic material, wood, coconut shells, bamboo, agricultural waste, at high temperatures with limited oxygen. The process is called pyrolysis. What it produces is a carbon structure so porous that a single gram of high-quality biochar contains a surface area of up to 500 square meters. 500 square meters. In 1 gram. That surface area is the mechanism. Contaminants, bacteria, heavy metals, and organic compounds attach to the biochar surface through a process called adsorption. They bind. They stop moving through the water. They stay behind while the water passes through clean. Below the biochar, a layer of fine sand acts as a mechanical filter. Particles too large to bind to anything get physically trapped in the gaps between sand grains. Protozoa. Sediment. Suspended solids. Below the sand, coarse gravel provides drainage structure and prevents the layers above from compacting under water pressure. 3 layers. 3 completely different filtration mechanisms working simultaneously. And the entire system can be built from materials found within a quarter mile of almost any campsite, riverbank, or rural property on Earth. A 2020 paper published in the journal Water Research confirmed that biochar-based filtration systems demonstrated statistically significant removal of E. coli, arsenic, and phosphorus in field conditions. Not laboratory simulations. Field conditions. The commercial water filtration industry spent 2024 generating $45 billion in revenue. The science behind a functioning alternative has been in peer-reviewed journals for over a decade. You were never supposed to connect those two facts. Here is exactly how you build it when you need it. Find a container you can cut or puncture at the bottom. A plastic bottle, a hollow bamboo section, a clay pot with a small drainage hole. Anything that holds material and allows water to pass through the base slowly. Punch or cut small drainage holes in the bottom. Not large. Small. You want slow movement, not fast drainage. First layer at the bottom, coarse gravel. River stones, crushed rock, anything rough and irregular. Pack it to about 2 inches deep. Second layer, fine sand. Clean sand, not beach sand from a saltwater environment. 2 to 3 inches packed firmly above the gravel. Third layer, biochar. This is your primary filtration layer. If you are building this from scratch in the field, you make biochar by burning hardwood in a low-oxygen environment, smothering a fire under a metal container or dense soil and letting it cool completely. Crush the charred wood into small pieces. Pack it 2 to 3 inches above the sand. Optional fourth layer, a thin layer of grass or moss at the very top acts as a pre-filter, catching large debris before it reaches the biochar below. Pour water slowly through the top. Collect what comes out the bottom in a clean container. Run the first 2 passes back through the filter. The first output always carries fine particulate from the new filter material. By the third pass, output clarity improves significantly. This system does not replace boiling for viral contamination. Boil your filtered output when viral risk is present. But for bacterial load, heavy metals, and sediment in a survival or off-grid situation, this filter performs at a level that should have been on the cover of every outdoor survival guide ever printed. It never made the cover. Because it cannot be packaged, priced, or placed on a retail shelf with a margin attached to it. The global bottled water market is projected to reach $700 billion by 2030. $700 billion built around the idea that water, the one thing every living organism on Earth requires to survive, is something you need to purchase from a corporation in a disposable plastic container. Your great-grandfather did not buy water. Neither did his father. Or his father's father. Somewhere in the last 80 years, an entire civilization was convinced that the act of accessing clean water required a product, a subscription, or a brand. The knowledge that existed before that convincing did not disappear. It was documented. It was tested. It was confirmed in peer-reviewed research published in journals that most people will never read because nobody is paying to put that research in front of them. This video exists because that information belongs to everyone. If this opens something for you, subscribe and share it forward. Every person who finds this is one less person who has to buy what they already own the knowledge to build. The complete water, shelter, fire, and natural cleaning vault is in the description. Link below or scan the code on your screen. The next vault opens soon. And what is inside it, they worked even harder to erase.